this video, we're going to be adding mixed numbers with unlike denominators. So when we add with unlike denominators, a lot of times we're going to have to kind of regroup. So let's say you have the number 15 plus 9. I know that 5 plus 9 is 14, so I know I'm going to write one number down here and carry my 1 up here and say 1 plus 1 is 2. That's kind of like what we're going to be doing today with our mixed numbers. But like always, I'm going to walk you through it with our notes. So here's our first question on our notes. We've got 3 4/5 plus 1 2/3. The first step is always exactly the same. We're going to go ahead and find our LCM. So I'm going to go ahead and write my multiples to find my least common multiple. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. I found my LCM is 15. Looking good, looking good. The next step is also always the same. We're going to use that LCM to find our equivalent fractions. I'm going to go ahead and write my fractions in. I've got 4/5 and 2/3. I know I want my common denominator to be 15. So we have to find our equivalent fractions by multiplying. 5 times what will get me 15? I know that 5 times 3 will get me 15. And if I multiply the denominator by 3, I also have to multiply the numerator by 3. Because whatever you do to one, you also have to do to the other. 4 times 3 is 12. Now we jump down to the next fraction. How do I get from 3 to 15? You multiply by 5. If I multiply the denominator by 5, you also have to multiply the numerator by 5. 2 times 5 is 10. Remember, if I'm ever going too fast, you can pause it, slow it down, back it up. You can do everything except skip forward. All right, let's bring them down. Remember, make sure you go back and you look at those whole numbers. I had 3 4/5, which became 12/15, plus 1 2/3, which became 10/15. Let's add that together. I'm going to add my whole numbers. I'm going to get 4. I'm going to add my fractions, and I'm going to get 22/15. Now, I know you're looking at this and going, but that's an improper fraction and a mixed number. What in the world are we going to do with that? I'm going to show you. We've got 4 22/15. In order to change that into a proper mixed number, we're going to take this 22/15 and we're going to be subtracting 15/15 from it. Remember, 15/15 equals 1. So I'm subtracting 1 from here, and I'm going to give that 1 to the whole number. So I have 22/15 minus 15/15, and I'm giving that 1 that I'm creating here, that 1, and giving it to the whole number. So I'm going to end up with 5, and I know 22 minus 15, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15 is 7. And my denominator stays the same. So let's review there. I said 22/15 minus 15/15, which equals 1. I gave that 1 to the 4, and I ended up with 5 7/15. 5 7/15 was your correct answer. Make sure you have this thing on the side written on your paper somewhere. I wrote it off to the side just so I had a little bit more room, but you can write it wherever it will fit. Let's go ahead to the second problem. 2 3/4 plus 2/3. Looks good, looks good. Let's go ahead and find our LCM. We've got 4, 8, 12, 3, 6, 9, 12. We know these LCMs by now, y'all. 12 is that LCM. Now let's make it into some equivalent fractions with common denominators. 3/4, 2/3. I know I want my denominator to be 12 because 12 was my LCM. So I got to think in my brain, how am I going to get from 4 to 12? I'm going to multiply by 3, of course. And if I multiply the denominator by 3, I also have to multiply the numerator by 3. 3 times 3 is 9. To get from 3 to 12, I multiplied by 4. So I'm going to multiply my numerator by 4 as well. 2 times 4 is 8. Now let's bring back in those whole numbers, or just number. 2 9/12, because I had 2 3/4, so now it's 2 9/12. Plus, there was no whole number in this spot, so we've just got 8/12 there. 2 plus 0 is 2. 9 plus 8. I know 8 plus 8 is 16, so 8 plus 9 is 17. 2 17/12. All right, so I have to think about how I'm going to change that. I'm going to bring it down here. 2 and 17/12. That's an improper mixed number. So I'm going to subtract 12/12 from it and give that 12/12 to the 2. Remember, I'm going to subtract 12/12 from my 17/12 and give that 1 to the 2. So I'm going to have 3 is my whole number. 17 minus 12 is 5. So 3 and 5/12 is our answer. Good, good. Let's jump into you working some out and answering some questions. For this one, we've got 1.5 plus 1 and 2/3. Go ahead and tell me what that LCM is. To work out the LCM, you should have said 2, 4, 6, 3, 6. That LCM is 6. Try to circle it every time. That'll help remind you how to find that LCM. Some of you are still picking some really big numbers. We've got 1/2, 2/3. I know I wanted to have 6 as my common denominator. I say 2 times 3 is 6. So that means 1 times 3 is 3. 3/6 is my equivalent fraction to 1/2. Go ahead and find my equivalent fraction to 2/3. For this one, you should have said 3 times 2 is 6. So 2 times 2 is 4. My equivalent fractions are 3/6 and 4/6. Let's go ahead and put them in our blanks. We've got 1 and 3/6 because it was 1.5, plus 1 and 4/6 because it was 1 2/3, equals 1 plus 1 is 2, 3 plus 4 is 7, 6. So we've got 2. Oh, that should be a plus sign. Make that a plus sign, please. And 7/6. And we have to turn that into a proper mixed number. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 6/6 from my 7/6 and give that 1 whole to my 2. And I'm going to end up with 3 and 1/6 because I subtracted 6/6 from 7/6. So I'm going to have 3 and 1/6 as my answer. I'm going to go ahead and solve the next one. 3 and 7/10 plus 1 and 1/4. Go ahead and get it solved. For this one, you should have come up with your least common multiple first. So we've got 10, 20, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. 20 was our LCM. Let's go ahead and write those fractions over. 7/10 times something equals something over 20. 1/4 times something equals something over 20. I know that 10 times 2 is 20. So I'm going to say 7 times 2 is 14. Because if I multiply the denominator by something, I have to multiply the numerator by it as well. Now let's jump over to this 1/4. I know that 4 times 5 is 20. So I'm going to multiply my numerator by 5 as well. 1 times 5 is 5. So let's remember to go back and take a look at our whole numbers. We had 3 and 14/20 plus 1 and 5/20. Let's add that together. 3 plus 1 is 4. 14 plus 5 is 19/20. We can skip that last part and just put our answer in the circle. Because it's a proper mixed number, we don't have to do anything else to it. It's done. Go ahead and solve this last one. 4 and 7/8 plus 2 and 2/3. Give it a try. You should have started out by finding your least common denominator. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. You got to go pretty far to get this one. 24 is our least common multiple. That LCM, that was a messy circle, but you got the point. We have 7/8. We want it to equal something over 24. And we have 2/3. We want to equal something over 24. I know that 8 times 3 is 24. So I'm going to multiply the 7 times 3 as well and get 21. I know that 3 times 8 is 24, so multiply the 2 times 8 as well and get 16. Let's go back and remember that we had whole numbers. We have 4 and 21/24 plus 2 and 16/24. That's a lot of numbers. I know that 2 plus 4 is 6. Let's go over here and say 21 plus 16, 37/24. All right, we can't leave it like that. So we've got 6 and 37/24. Again, we don't need that subtraction sign. I guess you could use it. Because remember, you're going to take out 1 whole to give to your 6. So you're going to say 24 24ths. I'm going to pull out 24 24ths and give it to my 6. So 6 plus 1 is 7. Now we've got 37 minus 24 is 13. 7 and 13 24ths is correct. I hope that's what you got. If you did not, make sure you are double checking your work to make sure it masks mine, looks just like mine, and then you can get started on your classwork. Make sure if you have any questions, you raise your hand and ask.